Hello, my dear friends. This is a PaintyKat. My name is Catherine. Welcome on my review. Today I want to share to you some tips and tricks about brushes. You can see lots of shapes and sizes. Basically, this is the main shapes and some additionals, I'd say special shapes that helping to us to get some effects and bring interesting details. I will use acrylic today. It's just a normal paper. Actually, I'm not really gonna paint today something special. It's mostly gonna be a demonstration, but let's see what we'll get. First type, it's a flat brush like this. This size, this huge one, I'm using only for the big canvases, for example, because for this paper right now it's way too big, right? And usually for paper letter size or maybe A3 size like this, we're using smaller brushes. This brush, it's from IKEA set for kids, but I like the quality. I like a short pole because for blending with a wide brush strokes, it's handy. Not only long poles nice to use, it's better for work on easel, for example, when you can stand back a little bit, right, on a long distance. For blending, I like short poles. Brush here synthetic, really smooth, and look how easily it's blending color. Like 1, 2, 3 circles around, and that's it. Brush stroke, really wide. Look, it's same wide from start to the end. And I like how color mixing. Let's take a smaller size. It's the same type again, but size smaller when we need it. For example, when you want to bring some shade, maybe let's get a bit deeper, and I can blend it on a tiny area. And maybe here, and just blend better. I'm using just water today, no any special retarders. This is a brush stroke. How it's giving? It's flat. It can be random flat, and you can see on my channel paintings in a Fremov style with a random angle of brush strokes. But here let's just blend gradient. I like color. It's like very, very soft and light blue. And actually, as soon as it's looking as a sky, well, let me blend a bit more. So see, I catch white and gradient so smooth with no any special work. This is the big one, middle size, and the smallest I have today. See, it's a really not wide brush stroke. It's helping when areas are tiny, we can correct it somehow, but basically it's given just a straight brush stroke with a nice coverage. Well, this brush, very soft, it's synthetical soft one, and sometimes we can find at stores another type. Look, this is a natural Bristol. Same shape actually, it's flat, and I have today 2 sizes of them, bigger and a smaller one. And with this brush, we actually can't blend that well as with really smooth brushes. But I adore these types. We can create some fluffy shapes. For example, let's create clouds. I want to demonstrate what kind it's giving. Look, it's also nice for sea foam. In any moment when you need to get not really a good coverage, you want to stamp, but with nice control of area. Sponges, right? Yes, we have sponges for it, but sponges are big and it's hard to control an area. When it's a brush, area can be smaller compared to sponges, and look, I'm not creating strokes actually. I'm just touching my paper with a print from the brush. If you have an extra paint on your brush with this type, it actually will give more rough and big print. So I like to knock this kind of brushes on my palette, and this way an extra paint will be removed, and it's giving a nice control of consistency as well. Look, fluffy, very lightweight looking clouds. We can layer and layer white. So we really able to create more soft and light clouds and more heavy ones. I don't want to create a heavy. Somehow I like this look right now. Let's see, not only clouds we can create. I will bring a little bit of blue on my palette because I wanna demonstrate how it's painting a crones of the trees. It's so popular part of the landscapes. So if you like it, if you like to create landscapes with the trees, especially on backgrounds, this brush, just created specially for you. Let's pick a bit of black. I also added a black. Let's get green and blue all together, and let's mix lots of white. As soon as it's going to the landscape, let's remember about air perspective. So if we can see trees far from us, they will be very light, not contrasted, and also green color will be more shady, more grayish green, I'd say. And again, I'm gonna tap, right, like pot. Imagine it's a small log and you creating a footprints. This is how the process going. Tap, 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 tap. And I still keeping some air between a different brush strokes here. And this way, tree crones looking lacy a little bit as a lace trim. They are not heavy. They are very soft looking, so next we can bring more attention to the foreground and still take a look. It's looking so detailed because of many dots in one brush strokes possible to create. And I like that the print from this brush, it's not looking as a hand made it, as some brush made it. It's looking unique. So if you like to create seascapes with white sparkling foam, that's for you. If you like crones, some type of flowers as well, I like it for snow on a crones. Also on some of my tutorials you can find this brush, and as well as with a brush with a short pole before. For these brushes I like to cut poles even for nice stamping. It's just more handy in my view. I demonstrated to you bigger and a smaller size of the natural Bristol brush, and next type it's a flat and slanted brush. Actually, usually I like it for the green leaves. Just the previous tutorials serial with still lifes, I used it a lot for green leaves. But slanted brushes also nice for small houses, for example. I'm not really wanna create a house because usually it's taking too much time, and today I basically wanna demonstrate you a different character of shapes. So from this tutorial, it's mostly a review, even not a tutorial. I want to bring you ideas about how many different brushes we have. Brush, it's all the same tool, but look how different it is, how different it can be in your hands. And more you have, for example, see, I created some roof and the walls, and this is just a flat brushes. Any simple house usually taking like 20-30 minutes because of tiny details. I'm gonna cover it with a grass. And these flat slanted brushes, nice for grass. Just go with vertical brush strokes and look, we have a grass. You can start with kinda thin brush stroke and you can put more pressure on your paw and ta-da, this is a leaf in one go without any special attention to it. Just control your pressure and that's it. More you paint, more you learn, and of course more brushes you have with the different types, you will have more interesting paintings because of a combination. It's a second one. This edge here, more sharp, I'd say, and I love this one better. I use it the most. They looking singular, but you have to take a look on the edge of the brush, because if the edge are really wide, it's not possible to start with a very pointy line. If slanted brush are sharp, perfect for leaves, and you will have a nice control of the shape. You will be able to create in one go a really wide leaf, and you can end it with a very pointy end. Let's jump into the special brushes. First here, it's a really long one. It's have unique shape, like half round. It have many uses. I like to create some clouds with it, but clouds today already done. I want to demonstrate you how it's go. Look how long these brush strokes, because actually a long Bristol able to handle on it lots of paint, so you can get lots and lots of color on your brush, and you can put it with a very long brush stroke. I like it for waves, I like it for clouds, but you know what? Make an experiment. It will help to you learn more techniques, and also you will just know better your tools you have. Compared to short, flat and slanted brush, look how short brush strokes really. See? I can't put them long because I'm running out of color very fast. This brush not handling lots of acrylics, so if you're looking for long brush strokes, go for long Bristol brushes. As soon as we already started with the green color, let me put with this big brush. Yes, it's able to cover really huge areas. Let me bring more color. It's a brown. Some of blue I have left on my palette. Too less green. Let me grab my green. I put it just in the center of the spot. I will mix it a little bit like this. Let's bring yellow. And as soon as we already did sky and clouds and background trees and some grass, I will put on the painting with a very, very dark green. I don't want to remove brushes from the bottom line because these shapes we still need to check what it's giving, what effects we able to create with it. But I just want to create like a common view of the green field with the grass. Look how fast this brush going. IKEA, really cheap one. Doesn't matter if brush cheap or expensive. More important, it's a shape and of course it's a quality. With all my heart, I hate cheap brushes, no matter if it's a natural Bristol or a synthetical one, if it's easily losing hairs, because it can ruin watercolor really easy, really fast. So if you're getting cheap brushes, it still can be with a nice quality and same affordable price. I already did a review on most brushes I'm demonstrating today. I will leave a link to this review for you, and you can find these brushes on my Patreon with the links as well. In one set, it's possible to get like 12 brushes with a different types. And this one, the next one, it's a fork brush. Fork brush, it's one of the brushes that have a long bristle with 2 levels of bristle in it. First, it's a short, and second, it's a long ones. We're able to get acrylic, but this brush hardly taking thick consistency. It's need more water, and I will knock a little bit on my palette because this way you can notice 3 different needles of the bristle, and this way in one go take a look. Possible to create so many grass. Can we get the same result with just a normal watercolor type brush? Of course we can, but instead of 3 brush strokes in one go, we will paint just one. So we will spend 3 times more time for similar work. So why we need to? We don't. All we have to do is just to learn what tools we have and learn how to use it well. Look, lots of grass in just 2 minutes. You can layer it top on top. You can start with light grass, layer with deep tones, and again with a light. So this way you get a million of grass. Very nice depth for your field. Don't be scared to experiment. You can do it on your palette, or for example, as I'm going today, with no plans in mind about what painting I'm gonna create. I'm just taking brush by brush and trying and mixing and looking what effects it's giving. Another type of the brush from the set, same set of 12 different shapes, it's a zigzag brush. It's have a short zigzag edge on top. And what kind of effects we can get? It's actually same nice for grass, but I like to create actually with it for animals. I created a poppy, for example, with this kind of brush. I like to use it for the fallen leaves, for autumn landscapes. It's mixing color nicely and softly. It's giving a nice transitions color to color through the visible brush strokes. Just try it. Yes, brush strokes not that long as from the fork brush, but still take a look. I can do a brush strokes, but same time I can part a little bit. And look how prints looking. Very interesting. You can combine different types of brush strokes of just a single shape, and you'll get many interesting effects. Again, try and try. You will find so many new ways of use same tool, and just, to be honest, it's a lot of fun. And next special, it's again long Bristol, a very tiny one. I demonstrated this brush so many times in my tutorials. I love it with all my heart, but only issue I have with this brush, sometimes my students just can't find it at stores. So if you will notice this brush somewhere, grab it immediately. It's a long Bristol, very, very thin, and in one go, let me bring new green because I'm running out of color. In one go, with this brush, you're able to create longest lines, but still, same time, very thin ones. This brush not good for mixing on a palette. That's true. It's so boring sometimes, especially when consistency thick. So sometimes I like to mix shade I need with a palette knife or with a bigger brush, and only after I'm switching to this one. It's a line brush. And from the title of it, you already can guess for what we use it. For lines, true, but for signs as well. It's can create very accurate curved lines, good looking signs, and when I'm signing my paintings, usually I'm grabbing this one. So in many of my tutorials, in the end, you can see this brush exactly. I have only one number of it and wanna demonstrate how it's going. See? So gentle and thin lines possible to create. What it can be? Let's think. Let it be poppies. I like these flowers, and we still left here on a bottom line. I still have watercolor shapes and a flat oval next. So yes, let it be poppy. Next brush, it's a watercolor type. It's a pointy, but look, it's a round. See? Number kinda big. This is number 12. But about numbering for brushes, it's really different from brand to brand, and sometimes this one, for example, number 12, looking huge. Sometimes you ordering number 12 and a really tiny brush coming. So I'm not guessing nowadays. I'm not guessing size from the number of the brush. I just asking seller how big it is, how wide it is if I'm getting brushes online, or actually I like to see it in a reel before I'm ordering. And let's take a look what it's giving. So line brush was perfect for very, very thin lines and stems, and this brush giving nice round shaped brush strokes. It can be bigger, can be smaller. As soon as tip very pointy, we can give more or less pressure, and this way we will get bigger or smaller brush strokes. I like it for watercolor, and the title of this brush is watercolor actually. I like it for acrylics, especially when it's a synthetical brushes. It's easy to clean from the acrylic, which is important when it's a natural watercolor brush. Some acrylic usually stuck in the center of the Bristol. And that's why nowadays I totally switched to the synthetic brushes. For watercolor, it's nice as well. Really huge size, able to handle lots of color and water inside, and it's nice to create huge areas of the color for wet and wet technique for many of them. But as soon as today I grabbed acrylic, we will look how it's painting with acrylics. If you will interesting same review with another type of paints for watercolor, let me know in a comment. If you're interested in it, I can make a review for watercolor brushes and for other types of brushes, how it's going with watercolor. Paints are different. Of course, moments and effects we're getting from the brushes, it's also depends from the type of the paint. Next one, it's close to the watercolor shape, but it's more not that soft, I'd say. This brush, it's a Skoda, and I got it from Amazon. I love these brushes as well. They are really high quality. As soon as it's not that soft but still flexible, it's going nice with acrylic, but able to paint not just a thin consistency but also thick consistency. Again, because this brush very flexible. I like to paint many details with it. It can be petals, especially tiny ones. It can be pointy petals for bells, as we did, for example, in a previous tutorial. There you can find those blue bells. This brush will do nice job for this kind of details. Let's bring some chamomiles to this flower field. Color not really white, true, I mixed there a little bit of green, little bit of yellow. White objects, no matter what it is actually, if it's a petals or a fabric or a vase, it's reflecting everything around. So white, really clear white petals will look nice only on a very foreground here. If you want to create chamomiles deep inside of the grass, it will look more green. And I don't want to create exact shape by shape because it will take too much time. It's mostly like a spots here and there, but in general giving a feeling of it. Next brush, it's a steel watercolor type, but number 0. This is a local brand calling Rublev. I like a quality of it as well. Synthetical again. It's a pointy. Its handle not that much acrylic on it, but as soon as some my students and some my subscribers are not happy with line brushes, because it's hard to get. Some of last tutorials I'm not using line brush. Instead of it, I'm demonstrating how to get same effect, detailing some outline, gentle looking, very thin. Here it can be many stamps, for example, right? Really similar looking stroke. And I like to use this brush in very end of any painting to bring the final detailization. Like this, you know, let's create some brush strokes. Maybe like this. Is it enough? I hope so. Well, let's bring some of them here. And compare to long Bristol, it's shorter in twice. Yes, but look, still doing a really nice job. Let's switch to another brush. Oh, this is a very popular one. I have a set of 13 flat and oval brushes, from the really huge one to the tiniest one, and I'm using all of them. As soon as we already started a poppy field, let's bring a lots of red color, like this. I like the color, actually, look. I will bring more white, and let me first demonstrate to you the type of the brush stroke. Remember, we have not only a paper, we also have a palette. Let's see. That's how it's going. Look at the edge of the top edge. It's already looking as a petal. So for flowers, perfect. If you like to paint a bouquets, especially flowers with big petals, these brushes designed specially for you. Take a look. We don't need even a special attention or something like that. We don't need to fix details. Let me go again. Here. Let's start. And as soon as this brush flat, I can turn it a little bit, so I can start with a very wide oval-shaped line, and I can end with a pointy and very thin area where petal joined to the stem. Don't be in a hurry when you're painting with this type of brushes, cause in each move you're able to create almost the whole shape of the flower. Sometimes, right? So control it well. If you feel like a shape too big, you can try a smaller size to be sure that shape and a size of the petal perfectly as you imagined. I'm using a lot for roses, for peonies, and for poppies. Of course, that's just perfect here. Take a look. Let's bring a huge one on a foreground. Like this. I can give a really nice pressure on a pole. From the tiny shapes to the big ones. Very nice color, looking good with the green. If you're looking for deeper shade and you already have on your palette red and a green, don't bring extra black. Try to mix red and a green. You'll see it's giving almost a black looking mix. Take a look. Not all petals have to be fresh, you know. Some of them already bloomed before, so it's almost dry. Take a look on this black petal on the foreground. We can bring a darker details here and there just for more value, like this, for contrast again, right? Let's try another size, shape the same, and take a look how many brushes I have. It doesn't mean I went to the store and grabbed them all, grabbed everything I saw. No. Time by time, I have a free time to spend just to be curious at art store, and if I see some interesting brush or brush I still haven't and it's affordable in a price, usually I'm getting brush and trying. This flat and oval brush from the set of different shapes. They're just one flat and oval brush. I'd say it's a small sized, and for many of flowers it's going good. And a tiniest today I want to demonstrate. It's again from the set of different sizes, but same type, flat and oval. And let's create some camomiles for foreground. Because here we can go petal by petal, and flowers will look just more detailed. Like this. Take a look. Still, I'm starting with a oval shaped print, right? And I'm making a bit of stroke. And this way it's just looking as a petal. So brush, bringing these details. That's not as I creating it specially. Sometimes actually, especially from the beginners and kids, from the kids arts, I can find it sometimes people trying their best. So how it can look? Let's take a small brush like this. I want to just give you an example, the raw use of the brushes. Look, we can outline it first. It's again same type of flowers, and we can fill the inner area of each petal with the color. So idea the same, it's a white flower, but it's looking so different compared to the those camomiles as created with a flat and oval brush. First, this way, with outlining and filling an inner area, it's taking years to complete. Even a small paints, and same time it's giving too sharp looking petals and they just looking not natural. Again, try to make an experiment, try to get a different brushes. The most common and well known it's a watercolor type, those round with pointy ends. But today we have so many shapes, and nowadays prices are really affordable. It doesn't matter, you have to get a tons of brushes for $50 each, or you can go with the very starting kits with many shapes, try them all, find those that giving effects you like, and after you can search for the best quality of those types you need. That's actually how I research brushes and how I choosing tools for myself and for my kids. My daughter, she's already in this year finished art school, and I'm trying to teach her not only how to use brushes, but how to choose brushes. And hopefully she's getting an idea, and hope my comments and my advice will help you as well. No any universal advice that fits to everyone with types and sizes I have, but main knowledge about different types hopefully you can get from this tutorial. I'm trying my best to describe why we have this and those. Another type of brush here, last one actually from the line, it's a fan brush. Today I will do only splinters with it. A really well-known technique, probably one of the very beginning technique, because it's bringing detailing level really on a high stage. And we don't need to do any special, just grab color on it. Watery consistency, of course, because splatters have to fall easily on paper. Colors of the splatters can be different: white, light green, dark green. It's nice for snow, it's nice to create some floating petals in the air. For the sea foam as well, I use it a lot. And sometimes I like to create a few trees. You can find tutorial on channel as well with this brush. It's nice for some type of grasses and plants. Again, many ways of use. Let me see if I have enough. Probably I already do even too much. Not sure. Yes, I think I will stop now with a fun brush and let's take the final look what we actually created today. Really, I hadn't nothing special in my mind from the start. Somehow it's turned to the landscape with the flowers. As soon as we're creating this flower field, let's add knapweed flowers. Why those type? Just because we already have a zigzag brush. Take a look, shape a perfect. If, for example, you wanna paint carnations, those flowers with zigzag outline of petals, this brush so good, it's helping so much. Take a look. In one touch, in one brush stroke, I'm creating like a half of the flower. So this way, of course, we can bring fresh and nicely looking details easily. Imagine I have just a one watercolor brush. I will use like a half of a day to create these blue flowers, these knotweeds here. But with this zigzag brush, it's going so easy. My smaller son, he is just 5 years old, and his favorite brushes with different shapes: fork brush, zigzag brush. These brushes that giving us visible special effects. Let's me bring maybe one here. And I'm already happy enough. Hopefully, my friends, you having a lots of fun with this tutorial, with this review, as I'm having. Actually, I like this type of paintings that going with no sketching, with no special thoughts before. Just pick those colors I like and go with any idea in your mind. If you get a new set of the brushes, or maybe new beautiful colors of acrylic, try it. No need to create something special each time. Well, I switched to my big watercolor brush, cause landscape almost done, so I wanna just bring more maybe these green spots here and there. And you know what? Today I will spend lots of time to clean all brushes I used today, cause it was actually almost all brushes that I'm using a lot at the moment. Of course I have much more, but I tried my best to select and to demonstrate those types and size I use the most for my tutorials and paintings. I bring more white petals. Maybe let's bring another one here. Look, see, with this type of brush, it's possible to create a tiny flowers as well, not just the big petals or maybe some huge areas to fill with the colors, but just a tiny petals going good. Some brushes have a special brush strokes, and probably I'm using it not that often, but some of them, especially flat slanted, watercolor shapes, and natural Bristol one, I'm using almost in every my tutorial. So those I highly recommend to have in your brush box. I have a special box actually, but those I'm use the most usually placed on my table. Well, let me take a look and what else we can do here. I don't know. Let's paint some green leaves. What do you think? I want to paint them not too visible, but still wanna bring it here and there. Yeah, nice. Dark and contrasted. And maybe one here. This is a flat and slanted, and I told you I like this type for leaves. See how easy it's going. Let's put here some red spots. Imagine it's a poppy in a corner. And let me take a look again. I wanna bring some highlight, and let me demonstrate how a tiny brush can detail it better. Let me find it. I have too many on my palette already. Just a normal number 0, you can grab a number 1 as well, and just follow the line of the petal. It's looking good for foreground. Like this. That's just enough. Here and there. Maybe one for another poppy. And that's it. What do you think? Do I need to bring more? Probably for the flowers on a foreground with a white color, I'd recommend to bring an extra layer of white. You know, acrylic looking a little bit darker, maybe in a half of the tone after it's drying. Usually I'm just bringing extra layer of white. Petals here looking good if it's white and contrasted, and maybe let's bring some dots, white spots here, as it's a white flowers in middle ground. I actually didn't want it from the start to create a painting. Really, I wanted just demonstrate a different types of brush strokes, and somehow it's turned to the landscape with the flowers. But as soon as it's already done, let's finish it. You know, why not? Well, just last stem, and probably I will start at this moment. And I will put my sign. We already talked today about the best type of the brush for signing. It's a line brush. Let me find this one. I already have a little bit of mess on my table. More white dots. Someone needs to stop me definitely. Yeah, like this. Let me take the final look. Maybe some spots far. I like red poppies. That's one of my favorite flowers, and in any time when I have no ideas what to create and I'm just grabbing a random paints trying to search for inspiration, yeah, I like to create it. If you're just a beginner in painting, this is one of the most simple flowers, and I recommend to start with it if you like to. I have a really easy tutorial on my channel with a poppy on a field. It's a half of a letter size, and you can done it with just 15 minutes. Just use those brushes I recommend there, and by the way, the petals I created with brushes I demonstrated in this tutorial as well, in this tutorial today. I put it my sign, at last I found my line brush, and I'm gonna remove palette from the table and gonna dry painting I've done. Some acrylic drying fast, especially if a layer are thin. Some thick layer can take about 30 minutes. I'm not willing to wait. Most of the time I'm using a hairdryer here. I have two buttons there, hot air and cold air. I'm switching, so it's helping to dry and to cool paints and understand where paper already dried and where not. This way you will dry your painting really nice and everywhere. And when you will remove a tape, yes, today I used a tape to fix my painting on a table, you will remove it without any accidental throwing of the top layer of the paper. My friends, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this review for different types of brushes and brush strokes it's giving. I hope you will share to me your own experiment paintings where you will learn different types and brush strokes. You can do it through the Facebook, Patreon and Instagram, #PaintyKat, and of course join me on a Patreon. There we have tutorials where we're practicing and we're learning how to use brush strokes and create paintings with it. Subscribe my channel, we will have more interesting ideas to paint. It was a PaintyKat, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.